Hi, I'm Joe Roth. At New Jersey Sharing Network, we're committed to saving and enhancing people's lives through organ and tissue donation and informing people about our life-saving mission. That's why we're proud to support programming produced by the Caucus Educational Corporation and their partners in public television.
Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by Virtua, New Jersey Council of County Colleges, County College of Morris, connecting learning and life, PNC Bank, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, Activists, in cooperation with the American Medicine Chest Challenge, and by Steve and Elaine Pazicki. Promotional support provided by NJ.com, Small News, Big News, True Jersey, and by the New Jersey Business and Industry Association.
This is One-on-One.
When you first heard that they were doing Charlie Rose and Gayle King, didn't you go, what?
People like laughing at others, so I don't mind if the other is me.
See, you go right into the character. That's what it is.
I'm bringing families together a half an hour each week. Man, I'm doing something special.
And so I do feel successful.
We are pleased to be joined by Rodger Davenport, who is the transplant coordinator with our good friends of the New Jersey Sharing Network, and Katty Mercado. We are honored that you're with us. You're the mother of an organ and tissue donor, your daughter Melissa.
Yes, sir.
Before we go any further, by the way, you'll see important information up throughout this segment about your organization. Could you tell us about Melissa?
Oh, I don't know where to start. Melissa was 6 weeks old. You know, I had a very rough, shaky pregnancy. I was high risk the whole entire time. They told me she was going to be born with Down syndrome. She was going to be sick. She was going to be premature. And finally, on January 17th, she was born a healthy 7-pound, 8 ounces baby girl. You know, she brought tears and joy and an everlasting moment that I'll never forget to not only mine and my husband and my children's eyes, but to my whole entire family's eyes.
And at 6 weeks, you were taking her to the hospital?
Yes, I was taking her to Hackensack Hospital. She had a high fever of 101.5, and she was very congested. And as any mother knows, high fever and, you know, newborn babies can mean a lot of things, but the most important, it can mean infection. So I was taking her to Hackensack Hospital, where they checked her out, and after checking her, doing an examination and everything, they told me that there's nothing to worry about and she was good to go home. So called my niece up, she picked me up, and on the way home, figured, you know, I was gonna go home, pick up my kids and just live on with my normal life. Unfortunately, it didn't happen that way. On the way home, you know, the front driver's side wheel came off, rolled off to the front of the car, and we were paralyzed on Route 80. We were there for a minute. We called 911, called my husband, let him know that I was stuck in the middle of the Route 80 and I had no way of getting off. At that moment, I remember my niece saying, "They're gonna hit us, Melissa." And that was the last thing that I remember until I was pulled out of the car and the ambulance arrived.
And you lost Melissa?
I didn't lose her right then. She was taking her last breaths in my arm, and she was transferred to St. Joseph's Hospital, where she probably lasted 2 more days before they told us that there was nothing.
Do you have any idea? Well, let me ask it this way. When did you know? When did you and your husband know that you would want to donate Melissa's organs?
I remember this day like it was yesterday. I remember the nurse coming in and saying somebody wanted to speak to us about organ and tissue donation. They introduced us to Rodger.
That's when you met?
Yes, that's when we met. And I remember them asking us, you know, are you guys interested in organ and tissue donation? And I just remember the glimpse of my eyes met with my husband. And with no hesitation at all, we said yes. You know? I didn't want another mother shedding the tears that I was gonna shed. I didn't want another father having to carry their daughter's casket. I didn't want another siblings crying the tears and asking why or when their sister was coming back. I didn't want another family shattered like our family was.
Describe your role.
My role is to interact with families like the Mercado. I'm sharing network. We facilitate these organ and tissue transplants, and I was called that day in anticipation. The hospital's responsibility is to identify somebody who's not doing well, who may be a donor. So when they call, I was the one that was dispatched, and I remember that day as well. I remember it was a very difficult process for me. For as much as this is not about me, I remember, what do I say to a mother who's losing her 6-week-old child? It's a concept that I can't wrap my brain around. So when I first sat and spoke with Katty and her husband Angel, I was nervous, I was sweating, I was stuttering, I wasn't really doing well with it. And the level of resolve that the two of them had was just awe-inspiring.
What did their decision to do what they did, when they did, how they did?
Mm-hmm.
Melissa saved the lives of how many other people?
2 other people. She saved the lives. Her heart was donated to another baby, I believe was about a month, 3 months old or so, yeah. 4 months old. And Melissa's kidneys, both together, went to a young lady in California.
What does that mean to you?
What doesn't it mean? It means that another mother doesn't have to bury their child. They can see their child take their first steps. Trust, I have other children, but every children is special in their own way. Every child is. And she will get to see her son walk and crawl and say his first words because of my daughter. And that single mother of whoever knows how many children, she'll be able to kiss her kids as boo-boos. She'll be able to live on for her kids. And that's an honor in itself.
People may not understand what a transplant coordinator does. I mean, you made that happen. How do you make that happen?
Well, it's kind of a process. The whole donation process, we like to say, well, it'll take anywhere from 24 to 36 hours.
It's not exactly like what we see on TV?
No, it's nothing like what we see on TV. I can't even watch most of those shows, quite frankly.
They don't get it right?
Not very often do they get it right. When I've spoken to schools, I've come kind of with my own 5 steps through which it is. And the first step is just the evaluation process. The first job of a coordinator like myself and my colleagues is to come on site at a hospital, any of the 58, I believe, hospitals in New Jersey, and just determine right off the top that this person could be a suitable donor. The next step, which is sometimes the most difficult step, is the interaction with the family. I worked as an ICU nurse for a very long time, and I really considered coming to the Sharing Network, and the fear of talking to families is what kept me from doing it for quite a while, because that's the hardest part. In a strange irony, I actually did my pediatric ICU rotation in the same ICU that Melissa was when I was in nursing school, and I decided then I could never do pediatrics because it's just too hard. Right. I couldn't watch children be sick. I couldn't watch parents cry like that. So
that
it's
was
kind of at the same hospital, but this was many years prior.
At St. Joseph.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, the irony is we're also here on the campus of St. Joseph's.
Right around St. Joseph's, yeah.
Where we're taping these programs, but go ahead.
And what came around is one of the most poignant moments in my entire career total happened back in that same ICU.
And
was this interaction.
The other process?
Now going through the rest of the process, excuse me?
The rest of the process.
Going through the rest of the process, once we've interacted with the family and we have consent to go forward with donation, the next step is donor management, and basically we have to maintain her. We have to make her organs as best as they possibly can for donation. By that point in the process, of course, we know that Melissa and other donors have been pronounced brain dead, but their hearts are still beating, their lungs are still working because they're still on the ventilator. So we're going to give fluids and medicines and everything to make her heart as strong as it possibly can up until the time of donation. The fourth step in our process is the allocation process. Basically, it's our responsibility to find a home for each individual organs using the list that's maintained by the government. And the fifth step is the surgical recovery, is actually following all the way into the operating room.
And what's interesting is you have become totally involved in the Sharing Network.
Yes,
How
I
so?
have. I do the 5K every year.
The 5K, tell everyone what that is.
It's a walk in New Providence in June, where we walk in honor of those who've given the gift of life,
Raise a lot
like
of
my
money?
daughter. Yes. All the money goes for, organ and tissue awareness
Right.
to help other families like we have, and to advocate the word in any way possible.
What's that like for you?
It's an honor. It's an honor to see all my family support me and come together and cross that finish line and know that we did it, not just for my daughter, but for others that given the gift of life.
I need to ask you a question. You are a leader in so many ways, both of you are, but I want to ask you this. We've been asking people what the most important leadership lesson is that they've learned in their lives, not just CEOs of companies or hospitals or colleges. What's the biggest lesson you've learned about what it means to be a leader?
Biggest lesson that I've learned, being a leader does not mean just leading. It's not just about leading. It's about having passion to be able to show others and lead by example. That's being a leader. So I wouldn't be a leader if I wouldn't go out there and advocate what I do. So what kind of leader would I be to tell others to say yes to organ and tissue donation if I don't? What kind of leader would I be if I don't get out there and spread the word, but yet want others to go out there and spread the word about organ and tissue donation?
Her word is so much more powerful. Her advocacy is so much more powerful because of what she and her husband, Angel?
Yes.
What they did, correct? Their message means more, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Part of the reason I've come into this is just throwing statistics out. I look at
2 seconds left, go ahead.
The waiting list for kidneys is more than 50% of them are Black or Hispanic people on the list. Yet the donor designation rate in these communities are so much lower, and
So
I'm here to...
Blacks and Hispanics need the organs, but
they need to give too.
a lot of work needs to be done there, right?
And we're
Yes.
doing it every day.
A lot of work, but not a lot of people are willing to give in.
You did.
I sure did, and I'll do it every day.
You are our partners with your organization, with the Sharing Network, and because of the work that you and your husband are doing every day, you're making a big difference. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
To see more one-on-one with Steve Adubato programs, visit us online at steveadubato.org. If you would like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato PhD, and follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
Today we all met to pack stuff for the troops, all the stuff that will make our soldiers, sailors, Marine, and airmen feel like there's some love from America. And the folks from Lane Furniture and Rockwell Automation, Unilever, Menasha, Adopt a Soldier Platoon, the Blue Star Moms, all came together. Well, we've been doing this for over 11 years. We're all volunteers. Nobody takes a penny. Nobody takes a salary. Nobody gets any special privileges. And so that's what we do. We support sailors, soldiers, Marines, and airmen in harm's way. So wherever our guys are, we support them.
That's some great video from an organization called Adopt a Soldier Platoon organization, and the co-founders are here right now, Alan and Mary-Edna Krutchkoff. And you co-founded this organization. A great organization.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
And by the way, the story behind, you're laughing already. By the way, the website will be up throughout this entire program. The story behind how you created this is amazing. So you were working at Unilever at the time.
Correct.
You were doing what?
I was a school nurse at a small school in Ridgefield, New Jersey.
Okay, so you're in a parking lot.
Yeah, my car was parked where it was every day.
Okay, what happened?
The school custodian smashed into it one day on her way out to do an errand. And I called Alan at work and I said, my car got hit. And how could she not see your car? And I said, she has a lot on her mind. And he's like, well, over $500 worth of damage. What could be on her mind? And I said, her son-in-law had just been deployed to Iraq. He was in the 82nd Airborne. This was April of 2003. We had just started our combat missions over there, and he went back to his buddy at work and decided to go shopping at the company store and buy him some things and send them to him.
Back up. Your car gets hit.
Yes.
You're not worried about the car. You're okay. And you say, hey, wait a minute. This woman had a son-in-law who was in Afghanistan, just deployed, and you think...
Actually, Iraq.
Iraq.
Yes.
And you think, I'm at Unilever. They have great products. And you immediately think, maybe he needs something.
Right. Well, I was angry at first, but then when she told me that it was because her son-in-law was going to Iraq, I said, oh. So my anger turned to empathy. I went to a buddy of mine, Holmes Brady, and I said, Holmes, let's adopt this kid. He's a sergeant in the 82nd Airborne. Turns out that Holmes's dad was in the 82nd Airborne in World War II.
Wow.
So there was a connection there. And
what did you put together?
We bought some personal care products and snacks and food and Skippy peanut butter and stuff like that and shipped it over there. That was probably the first box.
And so that's the first box. What happens with your colleagues at Unilever? What do they do?
They hear about it. And then we had some colleagues that had loved ones overseas. So my nephew, my cousin, my son, we had, after about 3 or 4 months, we had 4 adoptees, the first one from the 82nd Airborne, and then 3 Marines. And we had about 25, 30 people that I would hit up for 20, 25 bucks a whack. Say, hey, come on, we got to buy some stuff. So I said, hey, we're the size of a small platoon. Let's call ourselves the Adopt a Soldier Platoon. And that's how the name was born. That's how the organization was born.
And never thinking that we would get to be nationally recognized 501c3, charity. We were just trying to do something nice for somebody, and it.
How big is it now?
Well, our revenue is about $500,000 a year. We're still small. I would say small to mid-size. So we're about $500,000 a year. Our program ratio in 2013 was 94.8 cents.
Make that clear to people. What does that mean?
That means that 94.8 cents out of every dollar we receive goes where it's supposed to go.
We're all volunteers. No one takes a salary. We don't spend money on a lot of, we don't do any advertising or a lot of promotions. We do have a website. We have a Facebook page.
Which I run for nothing.
Mostly word of mouth.
He does it. Jan, the website's up throughout the entire segment, right? Let's put it up, okay? So the website's up.
Yes.
So as the website is up, what can people do right now when they go on the website?
Well, there's a navigation bar on the left. They can go where it says donate. We're licensed, of course, in the state of New Jersey to solicit donations. We're New Jersey tax exempt. And they can go to donate and send us money. And if they have a specific place they want to put it, like if they want to put it to Wounded Heroes, they can put Operation Combat Care. And in Operation Combat Care, 100% of every dollar goes to our wounded heroes.
Amazing.
100%.
And there's so much to see on the website. There's videos and testimonials, and there's pictures, and there's packing lists of things that you could buy. There's hints on how to pack if people are interested, if there's organizations out there, community organizations or school organizations that would like to take on a project. There's all sorts of advice on there, and they can
But you're
reach
raising
out.
a lot of money. In fact, we came to know about you through some mutual friends. Our good friends Joe and Barry Murillo and our good friend Vito, they own Nina's in the Park.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
And they held a fundraiser, right?
Yes.
This fundraiser was back in October of 2014.
That was the second one. We've had 2 Salute to American Heroes at Nina's. They're wonderful, generous, patriotic, compassionate people. Just fantastic.
You raised a few bucks there.
The first year we raised a little over 100, and this past year we raised over 125,000. All of which goes to our wounded heroes.
And the folks
wonderful.
at Nina's, they let you have the place, and the food and everything else.
Yes.
They donate so it.
They give us a ridiculous deal.
Right.
With fabulous food and fabulous.
The food is amazing
and a beautiful setting.
Plus, they donate money also and give us money.
Yeah.
So and by the way, as we continue to have the website up, people can find a way to be helpful. The wounded veterans who come back, what do you do for them?
Well, we do have a whole area now that 100% of that goes to, and I've been a nurse for 43 years. So now my area of responsibility is to, as people fill out an application, which is online, they can also see the application for a grant, and we will see what their needs are, and we will try to fulfill many different types of needs. we'll review them. We have a small committee. We'll look at them and see what we have fund-wise that we can help. We can't give necessarily money, but we've bought a riding mower for someone who was a triple amputee to help him with his lawn. We've purchased vehicles. We just recently offered to pay for airline tickets for someone who was going back home to see a family he hadn't seen in 12 years since one of his parents died tragically. So I said to him, that's part of your healing, that's part of your ongoing process. We want to keep our guys safe. They've done so much to keep us safe here that we're trying to keep them safe once they get out and fall into potential tough situations.
You know, the other part of this is morale.
Yes.
There are 3 prongs. What are the 3 prongs of the organization?
Care packages downrange, the Wounded Heroes, and morale, welfare, recreation, or what we call MWR events, where we actually go to Afghanistan, go to Kuwait. We've been on aircraft carriers, been at bases. And
how do you build morale?
Just by being there and showing that, they're not forgotten and that America cares about them.
We've partnered with the Washington Redskins cheerleaders. There's nothing more American than football.
We're looking at them right now.
Oh, there they are.
We've got the cheerleaders to go from the Washington Redskins.
Yes.
Why would they do that? Why would they?
Because that's part of their culture. To be a Washington Redskins cheerleader, you have to be very patriotic. You have to be very charitable in your giving. You have to love the troops, yes.
If you don't love the troops, you'll never be a Washington Redskins cheerleader.
And most of these young women, in addition to being fabulous dancers and in wonderful shape, are family-oriented. Many of them are teachers. They've got attorneys. One has her PhD in some sort of biomedical engineering. They're wonderful, wonderful people.
And what happens when they get there? How do they help?
Wonderful.
Well, they'll split up. We'll go into a DFAC, which is a dining room facility. And we'll bring maybe anywhere from 8 to 10 cheerleaders. And they'll pair up into 2s, and they'll sit down with the guys in the dining rooms while they eat breakfast, while they eat lunch, while they eat dinner, talk to them, share experiences with them, pose for pictures, autograph, Facebook.
Wow.
And they have a show, an incredibly wonderful show. And this last January, this jacket I'm wearing has all the patches from our trip in January. So this last January, we actually brought a retired Raleigh, North Carolina fire chief who is called America's Elvis, an incredible Elvis impersonator. So he was part of the show. They do a variety show. And we went to 4 different commands in Afghanistan and did this show.
And the feedback you're getting, what's interesting is that you're getting a lot of feedback in terms of the impact that you're having. The United States Department of the Navy.
Yes.
Wrote to you, Jackie, if we could, put up the graphic. This is from the United States Department of the Navy. I'm going to read it. This comes from a top-level official. The care package from your organization were given to some of the bravest commissioned officers and enlisted personnel in the United States Navy. They were enjoyed by everyone and boosted the spirits of my squadron during a lengthy combat deployment aboard the USS Carl Vinson. Vincent, I'm sorry. Thank you. On behalf of everyone assigned to the Fighting Redcocks of Strike Fighter Squadron 22, please extend our most heartfelt thanks to your volunteers for their generosity and caring, and thank you again for your support while we are on deployment.
Now let me say, Steve, that the Carl Vinson is in the Arabian Gulf or somewhere in the Middle East. Don't know exactly where it is.
Tell everyone what the Carl Vinson is.
It's a nuclear-powered aircraft carrier, a fleet ship of the American Navy.
How at risk are those folks?
Right now, they're very at risk.
That's right.
And they're fighting ISIS. So when we sent, over the holidays, I believe we sent about 300 packages to the Carl Vinson. So we sent packages to the ship's command master chief, and he distributes it to all 18 departments aboard the ship. And we also sent packages to the command master chief from the carrier air wing. So all the air squadrons, all 8 air squadrons on board ship got maybe 50 packages that they shared.
Right.
And so these guys are flying missions over Iraq, northern Syria, protecting the Kurds and protecting our allies and protecting American interests.
Before I let you out of here, we've been asking lots of different people who are making a big difference in all walks of life about the question of leadership, and you are clearly leaders in your own right. The most important lesson you've learned about being a leader, right? Because no one forced you to do what you've done. You just happened to get in that little fender bender, right?
Right.
Anyone can start and help people. We started with 2, 3 people. Now we're 600 strong core of maybe 36 volunteers, but anybody can do it. Don't just put magnets on your car. Go out and make a difference.
I think the best thing about leadership is you lead by example, by doing it, by being right there in the trenches with everybody. There's nothing about us that says we're, running this organization. We're doing it every day, and I think that's the way we get people excited, because we're excited about it too.
What's the greatest satisfaction you get out of this?
How much my life has been enriched by meeting most incredible folks across this nation, folks that have been through things I could not even imagine anticipating or dealing with, and yet we are helping them deal with it. They are helping us live our lives better because we're seeing how they experience dealing with it. Limbs and things like that gone, and normal abilities to do things that we take for granted, and yet they're still hanging in there and caring about this nation.
And you served our country as well.
Yes, I did. United States Air Force.
How proud are you of our men and women?
They're the greatest people on earth.
Listen, people have seen the website for Adopt a Soldier Platoon organization throughout this segment, and we hope they respond, and we cannot thank you enough for everything you do.
If I can mention,
go ahead.
On July 4th, we have the Warfighters Independence Weekend, started by 10th Mountain Soldier, and if anyone is interested in helping us, we're going to provide hotels, expenses, travel, catering for 2 days for all these warfighters so that they can get together, share experiences. If we can save one life, keep one soldier from committing suicide and killing himself, we'll have done something really great. And everybody out there can help.
Thank you. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by Virtua, New Jersey Council of County Colleges, County College of Morris, PNC Bank, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, Activists in cooperation with the American Medicine Chest Challenge, and by Steve and Elaine Pazicki. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.
I work for Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield, and I'm a catastrophic case manager. I'm a nurse. I feel a sense of responsibility to each and every member that I speak with on the phone. I know where they live, I know their towns, I know the hospitals they go to. A lot of times I know their physicians, and I love helping people at very difficult times of their lives. The job I have now is the perfect job for me. I think I was born a nurse.